Warren Buffett once said, "The chains of habit are too tight to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken." We've all been in situations where we were unable to make substantial gains no matter how much work we put into it. And contrary to popular opinion, in these situations, instead of putting even more effort into the strategy we're following, we should take the time to step back and analyze our habits. Bad habits are our enemies and are especially dangerous because it's almost impossible to know when they are costing you your progress. Making changes to your habits is, most times, all you need to see considerable changes in your growth and development. Welcome to alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. Number 1. Lack of routine. Sometimes all you need to see considerable progress is to define your work properly. Do you find yourself answering work emails when you're home watching TV, or are you jumping into conference calls during your vacation? Having a blurred boundary between rest and work will make you put in subpar effort to get through the day, and in the long run, you won't make much progress. The best way to counter blurred boundaries is to create and stick to a routine. And a healthy one looks like having time for a workout, for breakfast, and other important daily activities. With a good routine, you will focus better on whatever you do. Number 2. Perfectionism. If you struggle with perfectionism, there's a chance of you not being able to put your all into whatever you do. Perfectionism can make you have impractically high standards that will get in the way of your progress. They also tire you out mentally and put you in positions where you'll be unable to finish whatever task you start because you want to make the little you've done perfect, which doesn't exist. Another problem with this habit is you'll likely end up shifting the blame whenever things don't go as planned because your head already had the perfect plan. Perfectionism will prevent you from accepting your mistakes and making realistic plans to consolidate on those weaknesses you have. Number 3. Staying up late and not getting enough sleep. We're all guilty of trying to catch up with our favorite series or putting in extra hours of work and ending up going to bed late. As a one-time thing, this isn't a problem, but when you do it enough times that your brain doesn't get enough rest before the next day, it's a surefire way to get out of sync and kill your progress. Scientists have proven that not getting enough sleep can affect memory consolidation, cognitive performance, and your ability to concentrate. So when you think of pulling that all-nighter, just remember, sleep is also an important part of preparation. Number 4. Multitasking. Of all the bad habits that can plague you and kill your progress, multitasking is definitely one of the most common. And this bad habit decreases efficiency, slows cognitive processing, and stresses you out in the long run. Multitasking will also have you feeling like you're a hard worker even though you end up with several incomplete tasks. And this habit also plays on the feeling of confidence in your skill. Something you could otherwise do well will end up being a botched job just because you were multitasking and trying to do 3 things at once. The best way to avoid multitasking and sabotaging your progress is to batch similar tasks together and complete them before moving on to the next item on your agenda. Number 5. Planning overcomplicated and long to-do lists. The gospel of the to-do list has been preached over and over again. To-do lists are important for productivity, sure, but it's possible that overdoing them is the exact thing that's killing your progress. Many people are in the habit of planning a to-do list with dozens of tasks every day. Because some of us are kind of overzealous, some people spend more time planning and writing the to-do list than the amount of time it'll take to actually carry out the tasks. Even after writing this excessively long list, you might find yourself overwhelmed and unlikely to complete all of them, and if you're particularly unlucky, it'll lower your morale. Keep in mind that the optimum to-do list is about 1 to 5 tasks with subtasks that fit into any one of them on any given day. Number 6, procrastination. You may delay, but time will not. Benjamin Franklin said that. So why do we put off big projects until the last minute despite knowing the dangers of doing so? Well, most times the procrastination habit is linked to underlying reasons like fear of criticism or failure or a lack of interest. No one is too old to procrastinate, so even though it's common for students to procrastinate preparing for exams or doing assignments, even as an executive in a large company, you can find yourself procrastinating on your plans. And when you procrastinate until the last minute, even though you might succeed in finishing the task, you find it haphazardly done or you end up too tired or stressed from all the rush. Number 7, indiscipline. When it comes down to it, there will always be days where you just don't feel like working. And when there's no motivation to painstakingly follow regulations, self-discipline is what will keep you going. A good example is frequently studying. Everyone knows it's important to read regularly in order to truly understand topics, but very few people are actually consistently doing it. And it's not because they don't want to pass, but they don't have the self-discipline to read when they're not in the mood. Number 8, comparison. While it's good to be competitive, if there's anything that can sabotage your progress, it's comparing your growth to others. We're fundamentally different, and we all have our unique ways of getting things done. Comparing yourself to others can distract you from your goals as you try to imitate the growth curve of another person. Unnecessary comparison can also lead to unhealthy competition and put you in situations where you would rather fail to save face than ask for help. A piece of advice: don't turn your mentor into your competitor. Number 9, addiction to technology. Tech is meant to make our lives easier and increase our productivity, but more often than not, it does the opposite. Technology, now at the tips of our fingers, causes more distraction than any other thing in our lives. Many people can't do without checking their emails and messages several times an hour. And when they're not doing that, they're scrolling through the unlimited feed their favorite platform dishes out nonstop. You might be on the verge of a breakthrough and then you get a notification from your phone that will interrupt your productivity flow. Even though you just check your phone for a quick minute, you might not get the chance to reconnect your focus with the same intensity you just had. Number 10, trying to do it all and not delegating work. It's good to have confidence in your ability to do things on your own, but sometimes doing it all can slow you down and affect your overall performance. Delegation also has the added advantage of allowing people skilled in a specific field to carry out the task and give you better results to work with. As the head of a team, even though you have knowledge in a specific field, it's better for you to delegate work to the professionals that you work with so you can focus on the bigger picture. Number 11, not learning from mistakes. Mistakes are necessary for growth. They provide you with hands-on experience of the best actions to take in certain situations. The best thing for people to do is to accept their mistakes without making excuses to justify them. When you make excuses, your mind doesn't attach the right reasons to your situation, and this leaves you in danger of doing the same thing again. The worst mistake you can make is not learning from your mistakes. Number 12, rushing. Rushing into something without careful thought and planning can be fatal to the project, no matter how simple it may be. And while you should be careful not to waste time being indecisive, you should also make sure adequate preparation is done before starting any project. Number 13, indecision and self-doubt. Indecision can be very expensive if left unchecked. It has the power to destroy all the hard work and preparation put into a project. It's normal to go through the different options available to you. But one must also pay attention to the time spent doing so. When faced with a difficult choice, many people will sort through all of the available data, weigh all of the pros and cons in their head until reaching a conclusion. And while this works some of the time, you have to remember it ultimately wastes a lot of willpower and energy that could be better invested in your work. Number 14. Can't tolerate criticism. Not knowing how to accept criticism graciously can easily derail your progress and hard work. Yes, criticism can be hard to accept without it getting to you a little bit, especially when it involves something kind of personal. It's best to understand the suggestion and not focus too much on the fact that someone called you out on something. You should be able to discern constructive criticism from straight-up malicious comments. And number 15, not managing stress. We cannot be fully motivated all the time, and in those periods where we don't feel in the mood to do our work, our ability to manage our stress can be the defining factor of our success. Stressful situations can throw you off track and fill you up with anxiety. Stress has a direct influence on your productivity, and the best way to counter it is to have stress-relieving habits and routines. Engaging in activities like yoga, meditation, music, art, and sports as a mental exercise can keep you in check and relieve you of the stress that would otherwise build up over time. Now, Aluxer, many things come into play to become a highly successful individual. As you look out for ways to improve yourself, remember to always look within, for that is always going to be the best place to start your personal growth journey. Now, since you made it this far, we recommend you check out our video on 10 of the most important core values for success. You can click the link in the corner or in the description below. And don't forget to tell us in the comments what habits you think are the most fatal to a person's progress. We'll see you back here again tomorrow, Aluxer.